Let's have a look at the starting grid for the Indy Pro 2000 Series presented by Cooper Tires, beginning with row number 7. Starting in the number 93 car, it is Lindsey Brewer back in the car this weekend and showing steady improvement through the sessions. The number 40 of Jack William Miller will roll off in the 13th position. Moving into row number 6, it is Jonathan Brown, a rookie into the series, and on the inside, Wyatt Brkacek. In the 10th starting spot, it is Salvatore De Alba in the number 6 car and Jordan Missig in the number 19. Kiko Porto will drive the number 1, a rookie to the Indy Pro 2000 Series, defending USF 2000 Series champion in the number 1 car, Yuvan Sundramurthy in the number 18, starting 7th. Braden Eves will drive the number 6 car, and he will roll off from, the number 4 car and roll off from the 6th position. Rookie Josh Green, driving the 3 machine, will start 5th. Nolan Siegel will drive the number 8 and start 4th. Reese Gold in the number 55 will start in the 3rd position. And to our front row, Inam Ahmed on the outside of row number 1. As we mentioned, Louis Foster, the British driver, a rookie to the series, who has had a dominant season so far and leads the championship. He will lead the field to the green in row number 1. Louis Foster, with podium finishes at each event in the weekend, he has picked up 4 victories so far this season and looking for another victory here to extend his championship lead. A very strong season. Reese Gold has struggled to try to maintain and stay close in that championship in the number 55 car. Of course, as we mentioned, Reese Gold will roll off in the 3rd position right behind Louis Foster. Perhaps an opportunity right at the start of this race to make it up in the early going. All right, just about a minute and a half away from the command to get the Indy Pro 2000 Series underway for race number 1 of the weekend. We had their qualifying session for race 2 earlier this morning, and it is Louis Foster who will lead them to the green this afternoon. Ahmed alongside on row number 1, followed by Gold and Siegel. As mentioned, Reese Gold trying to stay close in that championship, but has really struggled over the last couple of events, and Louis Foster has extended that lead. 1 minute until we get the engines fired for the Indy Pro 2000 Series, and we will get action underway for our second race of the day. A very strong USF 2000 race with Miles Rowe showing his dominance, going flag to flag, almost with the victory. Started on the inside of row number 2, but then quickly found his way to the front, scored the victory in race number 1. The USF 2000 cars back again tomorrow. Indy Pro 2000 cars are lined up and ready to get the command. Braden Eves on row number 6. Yuvan Sundramurthy will start in 7th position. Kiko Porto, the rookie, driving the number 1 car, the champion in the USF 2000 Series, starting 8th. Jordan Missig, the rookie, will start 9th. De Alba and Brkacek are 10th and 11th. Jonathan Brown, Jack William Miller, and Lindsey Brewer in the number 93 car will round out the field. 14 cars set to take the green flag for the Indy Pro 2000 cars. Let's go down to pit lane for the command to get the Indy Pro 2000 race underway.
On behalf of L&W Supply, drivers, start your engines.
Thank you to Nicole Barnhart for giving that command, as we'll start to hear the Indy Pro 2000 Series drivers fire those cars up and get set to race here this afternoon on the streets of Toronto. The first race for the Indy Pro 2000 Series. And Rob Howden has rejoined me. He's brought a friend with him, too, driver Matt Clark, who's come to join us for this Indy Pro 2000 race. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, so we're in Canada right now. We're talking about the Road to Indy. I mentioned on the podium about our USF Juniors program, which is our development level for the drivers coming into the Road to Indy here. And Matt Clark, the Canadian at a Canadian race, just happens to be the point leader in USF 2000 trying to win a scholarship. So, Mac, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're here with your D-Force team, taking some time out for being on pit lane with us. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I mean, it's been great this weekend being at home and seeing the Road to Indy really go to work.
Now, here's the thing. And I said this to Hinchcliffe a long time ago. I've said this to all these drivers. How badly do you want to be out there racing on your home track right now?
It's crazy. I mean, I've been on the pit wall most of the weekend with D-Force Racing and, just kind of sitting there watching the cars go by, itching to be out there. So
lots of work to be done still in your USF Juniors program. You're obviously leading, as we said. We got lots more racing still to come. We go to Road America. We go then to Austin, Texas as well at the Circuit of the Americas. There's work to be done, but you're in a really good spot right now.
I think, yeah, like you said, we're in a good spot, but I mean, still 2 rounds to go, and myself and the team, we're really working hard off the track to make sure we're ready for Road America.
So we're going to talk more to Matt Clark here about his USF Juniors program and what he's hoping to do next year. And again, having him as a guest in the booth, great to have him with us here. But yeah, we're going to get ready to go racing in the L&W Supply Grand Prix of Toronto. The drivers on their sighting lap around the track. We will go green this time by, and a great field of racers set to go. Louis Foster, unlike the battle we have in USF 2000, Foster comes in here with a pretty sizable lead in the championship battle. 49 points coming in, 2 pole positions means it's 51 points. And for Louis Foster, the driver out of England, an opportunity to potentially stretch here with 2 poles. But again, there's still lots of racing to be done, as I had said. The doubleheader here for Indy Pro 2000. Then in August, they'll head to Worldwide Technology Raceway in that 1.25 mile super fast oval there in St. Louis, Missouri. Then, of course, they'll cap us off at Portland as well. And again, the drivers will work their way out. Time to go racing here for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship presented by Cooper Tires. Foster on the inside. On the outside is Ahmed. It's an all Brit front row working their way out of turn number 9 and 10. They'll get ready to punch things off. Clean out of turn number 11. We're going to line them up. Foster's going to try to get the early jump. Coming out of turn 11. Great lineup of 14 drivers. Green, green, green. And it'll go 3, 4 wide down in there. Somebody's lost a front wing already. We're going to go full course yellow, I bet. There's a front wing right in the middle of the racetrack. Unless they're able to get it from the AMR safety team. I would assume, Todd, though, right in the middle of the racetrack, will likely go probably when they get up to turn 5 or 6.
Let's see how this shakes out as they head towards corner number 3. The cars decided that it was best to go at least maybe single file or perhaps 2 wide. We do have a view of corner number 3 now. Let's see if everybody can step through here without any incident. A little bit of smoke under braking, but nothing serious. Looks like everybody's going to get through. Yeah,
hold your breath. They come through there. You'll see the car with the wing off. I believe that is Jonathan Brown for turn 3 Motorsport, losing a front wing. Josh Green, well wide coming out there. A little sore wrist for Josh Green. Got hard into the barriers coming out of turn 8 into the pit wall at the end of qualifying. Now, we're still green. I wonder whether or not they potentially were able to get that wing. Maybe one of the AMR safety crew jumping out to grab the wing, and no, we are going to go yellow. I thought they don't normally send someone to run out on the racetrack to grab a wing, so indeed, yellow flag flying. And this is going to help, really help Jonathan Brown, because he'll head to pit lane to put a new wing on it.
Just saw him dive in, as a matter of fact, before even completing lap number 1. Jonathan Brown will be able to get that change done. He'll get back out. He'll be tail end, of course, but a big advantage to be able to make that stop under yellow.
I really like the call from race control as well. Let's let them race for half the lap. We know we can bring them around to turn number 8, then allow them to kind of settle in, get that opening lap in. We'll go single file after this, but as opposed to wooing them up real quick. Just give them that 3/4 of a lap to go racing.
Let the drivers sort it out. Matt Clark will tell us the same thing. That's what we want. We just want the drivers to sort this out. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it. Everything's fine.
Of course. I mean, you want as much green flag time as possible, right? Especially if you're kind of the P3, P4, P5 position. You really want to make up ground, so nice to have some green flag racing.
That's the best ways to do it, is off the start or off a restart. When everyone's bunched together, it's an opportunity to gain position. So let the drivers fight it out, and they had the chance to do it.
When you don't want to see the yellow flag, Mac, is when you've got that 5-second lead. You've run the first 3/4 of the race. You got this thing handled. The car is perfect. I got 5 seconds. I can cruise to the end. Then something happens, and the yellow flag comes out, and that just goes all the way.
I know a thing or two about that.
You do?
A few late race yellows at Mid-Ohio last time out, but I mean, it's all part of the game, right?
That Mac actually had some pretty good leads over the 2 of the triple header races, and in the restart, which is so hard to defend on a restart at that racetrack, got pipped, but still the strong second place finishes in those races is what gives him that point lead heading to Road America at the end of this month here. A fantastic facility. How are you looking forward to that one, man? It's such a great racetrack.
Road America is, first class facility, and I mean, the racetrack is a dream for any driver, so really looking forward to it.
We'll talk more about Matt Clark. We'll give you an opportunity to meet him a little bit more. We'll give him a chance to get his social media out. The young Canadian driver, I say, when people ask me, well, who's the young Canadian we need to watch? Who's going to be the next James Hinchcliffe? Who's going to come up through the ranks? Matt Clark out of Campbellville, Ontario, Canada. Really the guy to watch for right now as he's dialing things up. And again, getting ready to go here as we're going back to green flag racing. They'll roll their way out of turn number 9. And Foster tried to jump onto the early lead. Again, good restart for Foster. Anam Ahmed right there behind him. They'll work their way out of turn number 11. And indeed, Louis Foster going to defend down into turn number 1. A really solid restart for Foster. Braden Eves is going to defend a bit to the bottom of the racetrack further back, but everybody kind of settling in. The biggest battle, I think, Nolan Siegel and Reese Gold, though that's Josh Green. Siegel and Green going at it side by side into turn number 2. This will be the drag race down the line. Green going to block to the bottom of the racetrack, and you'll see Siegel tucked to the outside. Todd, one of the things about this track is you can run the outside line coming through turn number 3.
Carry the momentum through corner number 3, but you do want to have yourself back in line for corner number 4 and 5. It narrows down through that area, but it can be an advantage at times to run on the outside.
Yeah, into that corner, while Siegel tried to give him a little bit of room, Braden Eves threw that Jay Howard driver development number 4 to the inside. I think that Jordan Missig was able to capitalize on that and move into P5 or P6. Indeed, yeah, Missig in the Pabst Racing Machine up into 6th, move Ease down into 7th, Sundar Amurthy runs 8th, Kiko Porto and Jack William Miller rounding out your top 10. Miller able to get around, I think, Porto there, as we've got some aggressive racing. Elbows up here as we're back racing after the restart. Louis Foster trying to see if he can't stretch away a little bit. Foster in the number 90 Copart exclusive Autosport machine. It's been a heck of a run for Louis Foster, and almost, I would say, Todd, similar to what we're seeing at a Miles Rowe, just fed by confidence, fed by momentum. He just keeps making it happen, like Miles Rowe's literally 5 podium finishes, including 4 wins in the last 6 events. He's trying to keep it going here.
Keep scoring podiums, keep scoring race victories, and keep increasing that lead. As you mentioned, building that momentum moving forward. A lot of guys jumping forward on that last lap. As we mentioned, though, the restarts are an opportunity for drivers to gain position. Siegel and Green swap position, and Missig and Eves also swap position on that last restart.
Pabst Racing drivers back there in, 6th and 8th. Pretty good run for a couple of rookies in Missig and Sundar Amurthy, but up front, the Juncos Hollinger Racing pilots of Anam Ahmed and Reese Gold, seeing if they can't reel in Louis Foster right now. Ahmed running in the 2nd position. He rolls in here P4 in the points. For Anam Ahmed, he has 3 podium finishes, but has not yet got that race win. That's what he wants. He wants that first victory. This is a guy who's a former world karting champion, British Formula 3 champion, all the resume you would need, loves it over here in the U.S., and I love his first full season. He only ran the first couple of races last year, so Anam Ahmed is a driver with a ton of talent with a fantastic team in Juncos Hollinger.
Sorry, you can see that he's got the talent because he was able to score the 2nd quickest qualifying effort. He's got the speed. It's the consistency that you want to be able to do it lap after lap during the race. And how many times have we talked and we've seen drivers, once you break through and get that first victory, it's a weight lifted off your shoulders. It's the confidence that builds, understanding that you do understand the way to win races and how to win races, and now you can carry that forward.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the drivers will get it going, like Louis Foster was struggling to get a feel for the tire early on. Had never run the Cooper tires before coming over from Europe, but once he figured that out and qualified better, got that first win, and then the race wins came. For Matt Clark beside me here, you started off USF Juniors, obviously some success in F1600, some success in F4, but you didn't have to wait at all. You came out of the gate, swept at Ozarks, you swept at Barber, 4 wins to start the season. Talk a little bit about how much that momentum helped you. The confidence you got from a great start to the season.
Yeah, I mean, having a strong start to the season, I think, is always important. And myself and D-Force Racing, we came out of the gate swinging. Like you said, managed to sweep Barber, managed to sweep Ozarks as well. And, it really gives everyone inside the whole program confidence moving forward.
Yeah, indeed. Foster leading by 2.9 seconds now. Last time by 7 or 8 tenths faster than Anam Ahmed. Feels a little bit like a carbon copy of what we saw with Miles Rowe, Todd, in that last race where he was heads and tails quicker in terms of pace. We had Louis Foster on the pre-show when we got things rolling, talked a lot about his program and how he learned the car and how comfortable he's getting, how comfortable he feels here. St. Petersburg was his first ever race on a street course. You put that first one in the books. This one not nearly as daunting as that first race he ran.
You don't have nearly the same intimidation factor of the concrete walls if you've run them previously, be it at St. Petersburg or somewhere else. And as you build the confidence coming through the start of the season, you're getting to know the new car, getting to know your team, getting to know the new tires, as you mentioned, and then you start to qualify better. You may have the speed, you may even have it for a number of laps, but if you're qualifying better, you're not starting deeper in the field and having to pass car after car after car to get those good finishes. If you improve the qualifying, starting closer to the front, fewer cars to pass, the better results will come quickly.
And you find yourself out of some of that chaos that may happen midway through the pack. That's normally where it is. It's not always at the front. Sometimes it's, 6, 7, 8 on back. The drivers with maybe more to gain. They're trying to get a lot on that opening lap. You talked about how important it is to potentially get passes on the opening circuit, and that can potentially lead into some chaos. We did see a fight there further back as Salvatore De Alba was trying to make a move around Jack William Miller. We'll see what happens as they come out of turn number 3 through 4. The bending left-hander down here to the right hand, turn number 5. Very slippery corners. The drivers kind of get in on that concrete and wait for the car to grip back up when they roll back on the throttle. And then from out of that corner, it's flat out all the way through 6, 7, all the way down to turn number 8. A tough place to pass, because if you're going to pass an 8, you've got to kind of pinch off a different exit of 7 to dive down into the bottom of turn number 8.
If you're going to make that move, you want to be sure that there is going to be room for you up the inside, and the driver that you are attempting to pass knows that you are coming. Max, so if you're trying to make that pass up the inside, how far back are you setting up that pass for corner number 8? It's got to start corners earlier.
Yeah, I think an important part about making an efficient pass is, planning it and thinking ahead, like you said. 2, 3 corners before, you're really looking to set up that driver, change your racing line to ensure that you're able to get to the bottom of the racetrack.
And that's it. We talk about it all the time. The move out of turn number 5 as well as set up a pass down in turn number 8, which is odd. And the same thing when you're rolling through 9 and 10. That's the pass that's going to be made down in turn number 1. And you can see right now that I believe Josh Green starting to get maybe a little bit more antsy, trying to think he's ready to go on the attack. He's definitely getting held up right now by Gold in the number 55. And I got to say, I would think that if you're Josh Green, you're saying, I got a P2 car here. I may not be able to catch Foster, but I got a feeling I can get up to second. I got to get by this first Hollinger car before I go after the second Juncos Hollinger machine.
8 laps completed out of 25. So, yes, I guess the question is, too, is, yes, you have a faster car, and how quickly can you get by that car that you believe you're faster in front? You want to be aggressive. You want to make that pass as quickly as possible, but also understand that you've still got more than half of this race left to go.
Yeah, 25 lapper for drivers in Indy Pro 2000, the L&W Supply Grand Prix of Toronto. Great to have L&W Supply on board with us here this weekend in Toronto. But indeed, like you said, patience still a virtue. But you're, again, the anxiousness. I got to make it pass. I know I'm faster. And a little bit of that will come to Matt Clark. Maybe you're faster now. I think that's where the anxiety comes in, right? The stress is I'm faster now. Maybe the car might go away on me a little bit. They may have gone higher on the tire pressure. I got to make the pass now. If you start feeling that, that's when you start making mistakes, though.
Yeah, I think so. It's important to remain calm inside the race car, especially, if you're in a good position in the championship, you got to think about the long-term gain and really just make sure you keep that car underneath you, move forward slowly, and hopefully have a good finish.
Josh Green in the 5th spot in points, and I believe pushing hard to try to get by into 3rd. He is tied with Braden Eves in the points. 1 win, 3 podiums for that driver out of Mount Kisco, New York. Foster, Ahmed, Gold, Green, Siegel, the top 5. Missing, Eves, Sooner, Murthy, Porto, Miller, and De Alba. Pekacic, Brown, and Brewer, the 14 drivers that we have into the field. Being told we have a driver potentially into the tires in turn number 3. That would be Salvatore De Alba, we think, potentially in turn number 3 in the tires. We have not seen the yellow flag fly yet. There's De Alba right there. Lost the front wing. He's trying to get that car refired. So we're close to going yellow. Indeed, we are. Full course yellow for Salvatore De Alba, who has gone into the tires. And again, that was that battle he was having with Jack William Miller. And I think both of them getting super aggressive. And you know what, mate? Hopefully we'll get a replay, but you got to think it's just a late breaker trying to get down the inside. And
race control waiting again to give De Alba the opportunity to maybe get that car refired, maybe get back out of the way and not have to go green. But yes, finally when things are approaching at a high speed, it's like we cannot leave that car out there. You got to slow the field and go out and retrieve it.
Didn't we talk about this at the start? Like that, going yellow early, but how about 10 laps in? Now, it's not the last 5 laps, but Foster was leading by 4.9 seconds. Sees that absolutely disappear and allows Anam Ahmed to close back up. And maybe even more importantly, it may give Josh Green a chance on a restart to get a run down into turn number 1. And Mac, is that what you'd be thinking? Let me put you in a situation right now. You think you're Josh Green, you're putting the pressure on Gold. What's your move right now? You try to make the move down into 1?
I think so. I think Josh knows he has a really fast car in that turn 3 motorsports machine. So, he's eyes up, looking to move forward. Definitely turn 1 as well as turn 3 can be an amazing passing spot.
So that's the thing too. So again, talking about a pass setting up early, right? So if they come down to turn number 1, he might do the fake to the inside, see if he can get Gold to bite and defend a little bit. When you defend going into a corner, you give up the exit speed, right? You have a tighter radius. So if he defends in turn number 1, then he's a sit and duck at the end of the straightaway in turn number 3.
Agreed, and I think Josh knows that. He's a smart racer. He's going to try to get Reese Gold, dummy that inside line, get a poor exit out of turn 1, and then hopefully look to make a move down into T3.
Well, I'm going to ask Mac to give up some of his secrets then. So on the restart, if you're Josh Green and Reese Gold is your target on the restart, again, how soon do you start setting that up? Do you start moving up and backing off and moving up and backing off as you're approaching the green flag to restart so that you don't necessarily give your opponent the all the knowledge as to when you're going to make your move?
That's a really good point. And no, the restart acceleration point is crucial for every driver. And I think a large part of getting that right is keeping your eyes up, making sure you're looking, 2-3 cars ahead in Josh Green's case, and making sure he has that good initial launch to try to make a move.
So get ready, folks. We're going back to green flag racing, this time by Louis Foster. We had almost a 5-second lead before we went yellow. Is going to once again try to defend off the restart. Was very good coming out of turn number 10 and 11. And I think the tough nature of 10 and 11 makes it a little bit easier for him to kind of surprise everybody and punch off when he's set to go. So he should be able to defend up into 1. But again, he's the one with the advantage, no one else. So Ahmed, Gold, Green, Siegel, all with a chance to potentially attack. We'll be watching for Josh Green, who showed that he believes, the pace. We're back to green flag racing, down into 1. Here's that move to the bottom of the racetrack. There is Gold going to the bottom, and coming to the bottom of the racetrack as well is Siegel trying to find a way by. Not quite there. And it was indeed Gold to the bottom. You can only make the one move in defense, so he's going to lose a bit of exit speed. Foster out quickly from Ahmed. Look at this. Here comes Josh Green. He knows this is a great opportunity for him at the halfway point. Can he make a move? Down into turn number 3 right now. Everybody clean. Oh, those side by side. Hold on. He's through. Everybody coming through here as well. Green, book it. In the inside, he'll take over P3. There's first, second, Green third, Gold fourth. Look at these guys hanging it out here right now. That was a fantastic opening lap after the restart, and Josh Green, we knew it, aggressive, made the move to the inside, but everybody else trying to take advantage as well. And to be honest, Todd, I think Reese Gold did a pretty good job not going further back.
I'd like to give congratulations to all these Indy Pro 2000 drivers because I didn't know you could go 3 wide through corner number 3 and out through towards corner number 4, but they managed to do it. And Mac, you talked about having maybe an attempt to try to make that pass and gain the position in corner number 1, but when it wasn't there, then you have to look for your next opportunity, and that's when Josh Green was able to get around Reese Gold in corner number 3.
Yeah, and I think, like we were talking about, that restart was super crucial, and he was able to get, Gold to block to the inside in turn 1, giving him a really good run down the straightaway T3, and he was able to make that move nice and late on the brakes.
And here's the thing, a little bit to add on for Josh Green. You remember, earlier today in qualifying for race number 2, he ends up tapping the wall coming out of turn 8, asking for a bit more out of the car for qualifying. Spins the car, ends up really getting into the end of pit lane. That team, Turn 3 Motorsport, had to go to work between that session and this session to get him back going. There was a ton of damage on that race car, Todd. And again, even Josh, he was in with the medics. His wrist is wrapped up quite a bit, hurt his wrist a little bit. This kid's on a mission right now, and this may be the best I've seen him drive in terms of really getting at it here, going at it. A little slide coming out of turn number 8. He's trying to reel in Ahmed. He's already got one of the Juncos Hollinger cars, moving Gold down to 4th. Are we going to see Josh Green go to P2?
That's his goal in the next half of this race, as we're just passing the halfway point now. He's managed to get around Reese Gold. Now he's set his sights on the next contender, and that's the mentality of a race car driver. Okay, I've got this position, now I want the next one. If you're out front, that's the ultimate goal. But next, I want the next position. You can see it looks like coming through corner 1 and down towards Lakeshore, he's really starting to cut into that lead already.
I love that shot coming out of turn number 1. As you can see, the corner corrections as they're out. The wheels are going left and right. I'll tell you, great having Matt Clark up here. As we said, the point leader in USF Juniors, hoping to try to go to USF 2000 next year. Not only is he gaining some PA booth experience, but the kid's going to school, watching what's happening on the racetrack right now. He's got his advantage of watching these guys and what they're doing. And I'll tell you, Anam Ahmed has got a handful of race car right now. Every exit, he is really on that wheel.
Yeah, you can see down on the exit of turn 1, a little bit of counter steer. He was looking pretty sketchy. And I think, he's trying to push hard, keep himself ahead of Josh Green and keeping his eyes up towards Louis Foster, because Foster seems like he has a really fast race car.
And you know they're on the radio telling him, hey, Green's coming. He just got by a gold, your teammate. Now he's pushing hard. And Green is hanging it out there. Big time coming through turn number 9 and 10. This is some aggressive running here for Josh Green. Let's have a look at the lap times. He was a 10th quicker last time by. Another 10th again for Josh Green. He's got it down to 0.8 of a second. We've got essentially still 11 laps remaining, so Green with a lot of time. And now it's Nolan Siegel's turn to see if he can't get by. Josh Green up into third, but Nolan Siegel and Reese Gold, those two drivers came into the series 4 years ago at the tender age of 14. They're both now race winners in USF 2000 and Indy Pro. And look at Siegel trying to go around the outside. Both 17-year-old teenagers, very talented behind the wheel, and they're battling it out for 4th and 5th right now here in Indy Pro 2000. We know that Green pushing to try to get his way back forward. Lost in the shuffle, a 1.6 second advantage over 3 laps for Louis Foster. He's back out front again.
Yes, that's Louis Foster doing what he's done best so far in this Indy Pro 2000 series. Reese Gold, though, continues to be under attack from Nolan Siegel, as you can see, coming now through corner number 11, headed out towards the front part of the course again. That attack is going to continue. He's right up on the gearbox, and now you want to carry the speed through corner number 11. As we saw with the pass from Green on Gold, maybe you have the opportunity in corner number 1, but if it's not there, then maybe it comes a little further down the racetrack in corner number 3.
I love the battle further back as well. You go a second and a half behind Siegel, and it's Missig, Suter-Murthy, Eves, Miller, and Porto all in line as well. And that is for, 6th on back to 10th. So the back part of the top 10, not done at all. Yuvan Suter-Murthy in the 18, thinking about trying to find a way by his teammate. Indeed, here comes Suter-Murthy to the inside. Can he make it stick side by side? Oh, but he's not done yet. You got to hold to the top of the hill, pinches him off. Book it. Suter-Murthy now to P6, and that was 2 teammates working together. Mac, you've been told by D-Force, do not wreck your teammate.
That's like the number 1 rule in motorsport, right? Got to keep it clean with your teammates.
That's it. That's straight from Mac for sure.
Textbook pass, though, to come up the inside and then hold the line up the inside of corner number 3 on that right-hander going uphill and not leave quite enough room for your opponent to dive back in front of you before you get to 4.
I know it's not 100% true, but I always say if you own the apex, you own the exit. Right? So if I'm on the apex there, I got the inside. All you got to really do is drift it out a little bit farther, and you're going to get that driver to pinch back. You don't want to wreck a car, but if you take command of the corner, Mac, then you pretty much have it under control.
Agreed, and I think that's pretty much applicable to anything apart from oval racing. We have a lot of road courses here in the road to Indy, and no, I'd 100% agree with that. Usually once you get the car down to the apex, you have the preferred line for the exit. You know, you can kind of squeeze your opponent on the outside and get it done.
That's it. Watching more battling further back again. This is the scrap in. Nolan Siegel still trying the outside now on Reese Gold. That's close. Not quite able to hold it. I love Siegel trying the outside, though, even though that car is kind of rotating by itself as it climbs back up the hill from 3 to turn number 4. He is putting so much pressure right now. I'm thinking about the inside of turn 6. Got to watch that front wing. Siegel, relentless in the pressure for P4, putting all the pressure on Reese Gold. That's the best battle to watch on the racetrack right now, 4th and 5th. And there is 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th lined up. Yuvan Suter-Murthy is impressing me. I've been talking about the fact that I think that De Alba has been one of the most impressive drivers, the most improved drivers over the second half of the season. But this Indian-American, Yuvan Suter-Murthy, a University of Wisconsin student out of Delafield, Wisconsin, a winner in USF 2000 last year, rookie here with Pabst Racing. He is just getting more and more confident, better feel for the race car, and up into 6th place now for Yuvan Suter-Murthy. I'm really impressed with how he's handling his run here in Toronto.
That's what we've talked about with confidence, moving through the season, gaining more knowledge about the car, about the team, and learning the circuits. If you've been through and gone and experienced a street circuit before, whether these drivers have been in St. Petersburg or another street circuit, Mac Clark, tell us about it. That's that you understand what to expect. You don't find those concrete walls quite as intimidating.
Yeah, for sure. I think, once you get your first street course under your belt, I'm looking to do that in the next year or so. I haven't done it myself, so I can't give you too much, advice. But I think, once you get your first one under your belt, you feel more confident going into the next one. So all of these drivers in the Indy Pro 2000 category, they had St. Pete to kind of get themselves prepared for Toronto.
Yeah, we'll bring Mac back again once he gets some experience. He's got enough experience to talk about stuff right now.
Yeah, okay,
right?
except for all the race wins he's got this year.
Yeah.
He's having himself a great season.
Lap after lap up at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park at an F1600. This guy's got lots of experience. I get a future star of Canadian Motorsports, Matt Clark, joining us here today in the booth alongside myself, Rob Howden, and the voice of the Honda Indy Toronto, Todd Lewis. We are now about 7 laps away from wrapping things up here. Foster out to a 3.1 second lead, really putting the dominance on the championship right now. And again, I talked about in USF 2000, Augie Paps from Paps Racing wanting that driver's championship. Let's put it over to Michael Duncalf right now from Exclusive Autosport. Michael and Kimberly Duncalf from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. They've recently moved the shop down into Brownsburg, Indiana, but it's a Canadian team. They call themselves the A-Team, EH team, of course, because the Canadian roots. But Michael has been wanting a championship as well. When you're a team owner, yeah, it's a business, but you're also a sportsman. Man, you want that championship. You want those titles hanging up in the garage.
You are not in the racing business unless you are a competitive individual. There are a lot of other business opportunities that don't require that same drive and that same competitive nature. And this, you love it because you love competition.
Well, if you want to be a millionaire in racing, just start with $2 million, right? That's what you got to do. It's a tough business for sure, but again, like I said, they're all sportsmen. They all want those race wins, and Louis Foster potentially bringing that elusive drivers' championship to Exclusive Autosport, but a long way to go. As anybody would say, there is a long way still to go in this championship, and those drivers in the middle of this fight, Louis Foster, Reese Gold, Nolan Siegel, Anam Ahmed, Braden Eves, Josh Green, all within 73 points, and we have a lot of points still on offer on the season. Here's a fight further back. We'll pick that one up as well. There's your top 3, 4, 5. There's 6 and 7. Oh, look at this scrap right now. That is, I believe, Braden Eves trying to get by Jordan Missig. And Missig making that car about as wide as you possibly can. Eves tried up the outside. And really, Todd, you can't make that move up the outside unless you're well alongside and essentially ahead coming into the corner, because all the driver has to do is crowd you over to the left side of the racetrack and you're done.
Exactly. You're not running the driver off the racetrack because that's not really possible here, but you're just making it extra difficult for them to complete the maneuver that they're hoping to complete. I want to ask Matt Clark about this too. As we've seen Nolan Siegel a few times try to go up the inside of Reese Gold, whether it be in corner number 1 or corner number 3, hasn't been able to make that move successfully. He was forced to the outside. How does Nolan Siegel try to get Reese Gold to alter his line so either that move is available that he can go up the inside or make it successfully around the outside?
I think Nolan's got to really work Reese here, put the pressure on, and kind of sell himself. He's gonna make a fake move to the outside, and then hopefully Gold's only allowed to move once. That's a rule that we have all the way through the road to Indy as well as an IndyCar. Gold's only allowed to move once to defend his position. So Nolan's got to get him to go one way and then go the other, because the car behind, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Yeah. So Nolan's got to put a little bit of pressure on him, make that happen.
And you push him to commit, right? You got to get the driver to commit to the defense, and then you're allowed to have the outside line. And Mac was bang on. And you're allowed one move to defense, but it can't be in reaction. That's the other thing, too. If I make a move to the inside, you can't have that one move to come across to block me. You're allowed to make the one move to defense to the inside of the corner. Of course, that's your best pass to the bottom.
That's the best definition of defense versus blocking, is if you react and you try to stop a driver from making a move that he's already chosen. That's blocking, and that will be penalized.
4 laps remain here for Louis Foster. He's up by 4 seconds over Anam Ahmed and Josh Green. I've talked about the parity of the teams here in this Road to Indy as well. You've got Exclusive Autosport, Juncos Hollinger, and Turn 3 Motorsport in the top 3. You go top 6, and you added D-Force Racing and Pabst Racing. 5 different teams in the top 6, and that's what we see in this Road to Indy. Same thing in USF 2000. The teams we have in our paddock are fantastic groups of passionate individuals that all come together as a team. Doesn't matter which tent you're with. It's the different culture that really separates them. That's about it. Otherwise, look, there's your lead. Let's have a look at it. There we go, and we're waiting to the next driver, Anam Ahmed. Green not quite done. Both those drivers 109.3s last time by, and as Foster comes across the line, we'll have 3 laps to go. Foster has had 4 wins in the last 6 races, 5 podiums, looking to extend that to 5 wins and 7 and 6 podiums. Very similar trajectories, Todd, for Miles Rowe and Louis Foster up front. They've really kind of stepped things up midway through the season. to stamp their names on a championship contention.
And the leads that they had late in the race is very similar as well. Race number 1 of the USF 2000 and race number 1 here in the Indy Pro 2000 series. So now it's a matter of managing that distance through towards the final few laps. But Louis Foster looks to have this race in complete control, which, of course, as soon as I say that, will change.
Yeah, don't jinx it. It wasn't me, at least, thank goodness. 3 laps remaining, and there'll be 2 when they come back around. Foster's lead by 4.5. This is not done. That is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Let's keep it happening here with Ahmed, Green, Gold, and Siegel. Green slowly catching up to Ahmed, but not quite enough. And the same goes for Siegel. He's trying to get himself back where he needs to be. And then we've got the fight between Jordan Missing and Braden Eves for 7th and 8th. That not done at all either. So a lot of good one-on-one battles on the racetrack right now here. Drivers settling in for the final couple of circuits around this 1.7-mile racetrack. Those of you joining us on the Road to Indy TV app or on the Road to Indy TV YouTube channel, of course, we'll be back for 2 more races tomorrow morning with USF 2000 and Indy Pro, wrapping up their doubleheader weekends here on the streets of Toronto. Again, this is the L&W Supply Grand Prix of Toronto as into the stretch run for the drivers in the Road to Indy. Green up on the wheel, really bouncing back from the issue that he had in qualifying for race 2. And I think the fight further back between Eves and Missing going to heat up here as well. As here comes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, the 3rd, 4th, 5th. There's 6th, here's 7th and 8th. And yeah, Missing still holding off a determined Braden Eves. 5.1 seconds for Louis Foster, the British driver. I know tons of fans, of course, over in England cheering on this Brit. And it's been great to have Louis here with us. Came out of the gate with a really consistent run, but just didn't maximize qualifying. We talk all about it. He was very, very honest about the fact, I'm not getting everything out of these Cooper tires. The minute he figured it out in Indianapolis, it's really been a freight train since then. He's qualified better, as you said. It's not like he was qualifying, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But when you're qualified 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, that changes everything.
Far fewer cars to pass. You give yourself a better position at the start. It puts you in a position to succeed during the race, not having to battle as hard, not having to pass as many cars, not having to fight as hard to hold off competition as well. It gives you a much better starting point, literally and figuratively.
Final lap on the racetrack for Louis Foster as he works his way through turn number 3. And it's a massive gap for the exclusive Autosport driver trying to win yet another victory. It would be his 5th of the last 7 weekends. What a run it's been for Louis Foster. He'll work his way out of turn number 6 over to 7. This is when you can give yourself a little bit more room, get off the gas a little bit earlier, on the brakes a bit earlier as well. Just kind of cruise your way through. We got to wait to even see 2nd and 3rd place drivers. Louis Foster. Could this be the next driver to work his way to the NTT IndyCar Series, trying to go after a scholarship worth almost $700,000 out of the final quarter on the racetrack? Another win for the driver who leads the points. Indy Pro 2000 Race 1 in Toronto goes to Louis Foster from exclusive Autosport. A tremendous victory for the driver of the number 90, Anam Ahmed. Ends up holding off Josh Green. Anam Ahmed in 2nd, Josh Green 3rd. Gold somehow holding back a determined Nolan Siegel. Gold ends up in 4th. Nolan Siegel 5th. Yuban Sundaramurthy in 6th. Jordan Missing in 7th. 8th is Jack William Miller. 9th, Kiko Porto. And Jonathan Brown rounding out the top 10. Before we let you go, Matt Clark, again, one of the young Canadian stars of open wheel racing, F1600 champion, trying to win a title at USF Juniors. How can Canadian race fans follow you? Give me your social media, where they're able to follow you.
So, a lot of us younger drivers nowadays, we're all over social media. I got my stuff going, so I'm _ Matt Clark on Instagram. My website is mattclarkracing.com. I got a Facebook page as well, Twitter, same _ Matt Clark. So, big thank you to any of the race fans out there that want to give my journey a follow, and hopefully, on the way up the road to Indy.
Yeah, for the last couple of decades, Canada's been able to follow a lot of great drivers, James Hinchcliffe being one of them. This could be the next James Hinchcliffe. Folks, make sure to look up Matt Clark on social media or mattclarkracing.com. Thanks for joining me. I'll have you on the pre-show tomorrow. I think we got it lined up, so well done today.
No, looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys having me.
Matt Clark, folks, Todd Lewis, what a great race for Louis Foster. 5.2 seconds the victor over Anam Ahmed and Josh Green. 3 different teams on the podium as well, but again, this is a championship leader putting another nail in the coffin with big points. This is a big one for Louis Foster.
Came into the weekend with a 49-point lead and has now extended that and getting himself closer and closer to clinching that championship trophy and clinching that scholarship to the next level on the road to Indy, to move up from Indy Pro 2000 to Indy Lights. Rob Howden is going to dash down to go to victory podium. Our thanks to him and to Matt Clark for joining us here at the broadcast location as well. Congratulations again to Louis Foster, Inam Ahmed, and Josh Green, your top 3 finishers in the Indy Pro 2000 series. Reese Gold, as Rob put it, somehow managed to hold off Nolan Siegel through all that traffic and all those attacks that were taking place out on track. Sunderworthy missing Miller, Porto, and Brown, Wyatt Prokachik, and Braden Eves. And there is your winner climbing out of his number 90 machine. Louis Foster scores another victory, and with the confident number 1 signal, comes out of the car to collect another podium finish. And his record remains intact of collecting a podium finish at each race weekend event this season and extend that lead.
On victory lane to get some hardware. Let's start with the driver who battled his way up to 3rd spot. What a great run, folks, from Turn 3 Motorsports, Josh Green. 3rd spot after a hard crash in qualifying. Fantastic job. And we got 3rd place trophy in right now. Terrence Sasser, one of our guests from L&W Supply. More hardware for Josh. You can see he's got that wrist wrapped up after the incident in qualifying. What a tremendous drive today, working his way forward. So much fun to watch. Good battle as well for 2nd place. Josh was trying to reel him in, but it just wasn't quite enough. 3 different teams on the top 3, as I had said, finishing in 2nd spot today from Hunko's Hollinger Racing. A round of applause for Anam Ahmed. 4th podium on the year for Anam. Let's bring that trophy up here as well. Becky Gilmore, one of our guests from L&W, presenting him with some more hardware. That race win just around the corner for Anam, a very talented driver. Pakistani born, living in the UK. Proudly carrying the Pakistani flag. Thank you so much, Becky. We appreciate it. This championship, very much like USF 2000, is starting to get pretty interesting. The driver who gets another win here today is on a mid-season roll, very much like Miles Rowe. Another victory here, folks. He'll stretch the point lead. For Exclusive Autosport from England, the winner today, Louis Foster! Couple of British drivers up here. Louis Foster, I know that you racers always say, I'm just going to go out there, I'll just win races and let the championship take care of itself. Well, really, that's what's happening right now. You've won a bunch of races mid-season, and the point lead is strong here right now, heading, of course, to a race tomorrow and then to the Oval at Gateway.
Yeah, I mean, this race was obviously a good race. I knew that the first lap was going to be the most difficult. I knew Anam's quite feisty on lap 1, so I tried my best to keep him behind me. But yeah, I think our pace when the tyres are quite cold was a lot better than others, so we managed to pull a really, really good lead. Unfortunately, the safety car came out, which bunched us all up again. I think there was 2 safety cars, or yeah, I can't remember now. It's only 20 minutes ago. But yeah, I mean, the car was great. Me and John worked really hard, especially the boys at Exclusive. We worked really hard this weekend and every weekend, so a big thank you to them. And obviously, we won in Exclusive's home country, Canada. So.
You did. It's a Canadian team as well. Let me throw, Canadian. How about for Canada right now? Let me throw this out there before we wrap up. Obviously, one of the cool things of the IndyCar Series and the Road to Indy is we run on all the different circuits. Natural terrain, ovals, and straight circuits. Only one driver's done that this year, folks, and that is Louis Foster. He's won on all 3 different circuits this year. The street circuit here, natural terrain road course. He was the oval winner as well. Dude, that's amazing.
Coming into this season, I hadn't ever driven on an oval and I hadn't ever driven on a street course, so I guess we learned quite quickly.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
One more time for Louis Foster, folks. What a tremendous victory here today. Let's bring that 1st place trophy up. Marbel Batusta is going to help us out. Marbel, thank you. Again, one of our guests from L&W, Marbel Batusta, joining us here. Again, I always say this during these podiums when people are here to watch these events. This is the future of the NTT IndyCar Series. Only a couple of years ago, this was Renus VK and Pato O'Ward and Connor Daly and all the drivers that you're seeing on the NTT IndyCar Series grid. A couple of British drivers and an American on the podium here today, and they're going to do it all again tomorrow morning, of course. But again, this championship looking more and more like Louis Foster is in a fantastic position. One more race tomorrow. In fact, 5 more races left to go on the season. One here tomorrow. At the end of July, we'll head to Worldwide Technology Raceway on the oval there, the 1.125-mile oval in St. Louis. And then, of course, from there, the Labor Day weekend finale for the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, a triple header in Portland International Raceway. But as I had said, really impressive for Louis Foster. And he mentioned it. He'd never been on a street circuit before he came here to the U.S. Wins here in Toronto, having run at St. Petersburg the first time. Wins on the oval as well at Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Freedom 90. And, of course, victorious, as we have said, as well on natural terrain road courses throughout the season. Going through our podium presentation schedule, get another correct photos here for you. We've got guests that are coming to join us up here as well before we pull out the champagne to spray. What's next, Gavin? Again, a lot of our guests coming from L&W Supply here this weekend, and again, Cooper Tires. Just great to have a lot of fantastic people joining us here as part of this event here in Toronto. And if you want to be involved with the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, we'd be more than happy to help talk to you about hospitality opportunities and chance just to get out here, bring your team out here, bring your company out here, your customers, whatever it may be. We have a lot of fun as part of our program here. Get a chance to get on the podium here with the drivers who you're going to see in the NTT IndyCar Series in a couple of years. And again, I can just kind of go through the whole group. The Colton Hurtas, Venus VK, Felix Rosenquist, Dalton Kellett, Kyle Kirkwood, Connor Daly, Joseph Newgarden. Keep going through the ranks of the drivers who have worked their way again in to this fantastic program. Beautiful day, of course, here in Toronto as well. We've had rain here in years past. No way. This is Chamber of Commerce weather for the weekend here. 2 more races for you tomorrow to fire things up before the NTT IndyCar Series get ready to roll with the Honda Indy Toronto. That's going to be a tremendous race around this fantastic track. So our good folks from L&W Supply, the guests head on down. We've got some champagne waiting in the sidelines for the drivers here. Our kids on track here as well. We brought them up for our USF 2000 program, and great to have the kids from the Kids on Track program brought to you by High Tide Boat Lifts. Again, the drivers, of course, from here will head all back to their trailers and get a chance to sit down with their engineers. The work not done. You may think that, yeah, we've won this race. Now it's time to go have some dinner and enjoy yourselves. But to be honest, they've got work still to do. They'll download all the data from the race cars and go over every corner, every lap to find out how they can go a little bit quicker. You'll look at your teammates' data. A lot of work still to be done for the drivers here, despite the fact they're enjoying themselves here at the podium. So again, we'll finish off with a traditional celebration. A little champagne to spray to cap things off here on the day. And again, as we said, tremendous runs. Miles Rowe, your point leader, winning in USF 2000. Indy Pro 2000 point leader, Louis Foster doing the same thing, stretching that point lead. Champagne will fly for the drivers here on the podium. Josh Green and Louis Foster letting it rip there, the bubbly. And we'll cap things off, folks, one more time if you're here at Victory Lane. A round of applause for the winner today, Louis Foster for Exclusive Autosport. A winner on all 3 racing circuits of the 2022 Indy Pro 2000 season. Folks, again, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. More Road to Indy action for you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Folks, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.